Okay, so I just want to summarize the stuff you have to know about delta H. So delta H is the change in heat, like what was the loss or gain in heat of a reaction. So we call it heat of reaction. They mean the same thing. And it is the heat of the products minus the reactants. Remember, like how much money you profited in the end minus how much you spent in the beginning. All right, and then you have to know the difference between endo and exo. Okay, so endo, the word they're usually going to use is heat was absorbed, it went in. And exo, instead of saying the heat exits, they're usually going to say heat was released, but I kind of like to think of it as lost. Okay, so because you're absorbing, gaining energy, this one is always going to be a positive delta H because you're operating at a gain. And this one's always going to be a negative delta H because you are losing, you're releasing energy. All right. And also because of that, this graph should always end up higher than it started at because you gained energy. And this graph, because you're losing, should always end up lower than it started. Okay. And the last thing is for energy being gained, the energy should be to the left of the arrow. So if it's like blah, blah, blah equation, it should be like plus 571 kilojoules on the left. Whereas this one, if you're giving off, releasing energy, that energy should be on the right. So like 571 kilojoules, or just the word energy, either thing, should be to the right of the arrow. All right, so if you know that, you might have to know all these things to figure one out. So they might say, which of the following could this graph represent? And you'd have to say, okay, well, this graph is endo, and endothermic has positive delta H. So you might have to know like multiple things. Or they might show you something and it has 571 kilojoules to the left, and you say, okay, well, that's endothermic because energy is on the left. Therefore, this diagram works for it because this is an endothermic diagram. So you're going to have to know all of these kind of 4 things for endo and for exo and use them to figure other things out. All right.